Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back yet again to the ESL One Cologne 2017 North American Closed Qualifiers. We're in the grand finals now between Team Liquid and Counter Logic Gaming, who has just dropped the first map to Team Liquid back over on Cobblestone. Our second map is going to be Inferno, and we're already going live with it, so Bach, take it away. CLG on the T side with Team Liquid starting off on defense.
Now, reminder, when we came into this one, we were a little bit confused by the picks. CLG has played Inferno 8 times in the last few months, and they've only won 1 time. It was against Liquid, but still, they have not found great success, so maybe it's something they're working on. I don't know, maybe this is an ace in the hole pick for CLG. They could have taken map 1, which will make a win here a little bit frustrating if you're CLG, because like we had the right plan. We won on Inferno, which was our pick, and we were only just a few rounds away from taking map 1, losing 16-14 just at the end there to Team Liquid. Still, though, Pistol Round is live here on Inferno. JDM posted up, waiting for a push to come through from the boiler room, but now he's falling back, trying to get into the site in time to try and watch this balcony push. He's got Twist in pit. Twist gets one at least. Spots FNS midair as well. Nice shot onto him, but still the bomb site's been secured. Stanislaw right on the other side of the smoke, wants to push past it, and he does, but he's got to be careful. He manages to escape with his life. Nitro's working up from truck side. He's the one with the kit, and he's got the kit close to the bomb as well. Moved up all the way to the hay cart. Meanwhile, Stanislaw sticking back by Boiler as they now advance their way on up into the site. Ethan's still in pit, and Kusta's still in sight. Well played. Good setup in the end by CLG after the post plant. Team Liquid really couldn't do much at that point.
Yeah, and so off of that, CLG are once again going to find themselves with a hot start here. Team Liquid will have to force into it, look to upset. They did it on the last map. They can do it again here. An attempt to try and just force their way back into the lead. And they certainly want to do that on a map like Inferno. Definitely don't want to let the T's get those first 3 rounds for free. You're going to want to be restricting them to somewhere like 5 to 6 rounds at max. If you let them get 3 right at the start, it's not going to be the best way to play out in the long term here for this half.
A little bit of damage dealt early on to Kusta. Dropped down to 72 with that AK. Sitting at the bottom of mid. There's 2 players kind of playing aggressively on top Banana right now. Elige is on the other side of the wall. He's playing anti-flash, waiting for the flashes to come in. There he's got that 5-7, and he unloads onto Kusta, who barely survives. 21 HP for him. Nitro is back holding the angle right now from CT with that Deagle. He's got support coming in. It's Stanislaw starting to rotate through Speedway, but he second guesses himself, as Liquid aren't really sure if this is going to be B-side execute or not, but it does seem like it's going to be the case, as everyone from CLG is now on Banana, and they're about to move their way on forward. Nitro is the only one here defending, and he's only got 17 HP with his Deagle. Now the smokes are coming in. This should be the clear indicator that should pull some of these players over. Nice shot from Liquid, though, or for Nitro for that matter, as Liquid gives themselves a fighting chance, but we haven't seen any movement from these guys on A. It almost looks like Liquid were debating saving right away.
Well, it looks like the Team Liquid are going to be able to swing in and make an attempt at this regardless, however, as they do push in. Unfortunately, smokes blocking off the CT approach. They are going to be restricted there a slight amount. But that should be fading relatively soon. They do have another one to just toss right back in there in the hands of Finesse, though. That's exactly what they're going to do. So really, Team Liquid is being denied in all avenues, and now you can see them starting to shift their way out of the site. They'll give up on this one, and they're going to let CLG escape with a second-round pickup, as they will go up 2-0. But so far, only with 1 kill in their favor against Elige. The other 4 on the side of Team Liquid should be able to make it out alive.
Nitro barely making it out there with 2 HP. It was an interesting late decision from the players moving in from A. Like, they were sitting there. Nitro, he hears the smokes landing. He hears the execute coming in. But they didn't even move. Even after he gets that first kill, he sees more than 1 player. They still hadn't moved. So it seemed like right off the bat, Liquid were like, you know what? Probably not going to be able to stop this one. Nitro's on the site, but he's super low on HP. Let's just save. But then they sort of make a second decision. We're like, okay, well, maybe we can go help. And it ended up working out for them to a certain degree, as they were able to get Nitro out of there. So it's an additional pistol armor player moving into the next round, one who actually found a kill there as well. So not a bad move, given that he was the only one who got much of anything done in that pistol round there for Liquid. Now at the start of the round, he's spamming through the wall on Banana, but there's no one there. Instead, this time around, CLG is going to be kind of working together to form up a take towards this A site, sitting at the bottom of apartment stairs with just 1 working mid. That's FNS with the AK.
But still, CLG very much decidedly getting ready to push their way outside. And there's a waterfall movement outside of the balcony here. But JDM and Stanislaw in a setup which actually could possibly pick up a few kills. The missed molly just acts as a signal that one of them has actually pushed into the halls there. But for the others on CLG, they're now getting ready to swing their way back out. Cutler finding both of those pickups. They continue to push forward. Keep finding a third. Pretty easy cleanup here overall. That porch setup really doesn't get much done. The others, we're not going to have a high likelihood of getting much done to begin with. But the porch guys going there, that was really the only hope. Now Nitro is going to try to swing in, but even he, a little bit of a surprise play, cannot find much. Kusta knocks him out of the round, and CLG will get that 3-0 start.
They're going to bring some of those SMGs into play here. The umps on Ricky and Cutler. I'm curious to see if they're just going to try and play those guys fast. Right now, Liquid doesn't have the most fantastic of buys. You know, not even a single kit in play. Only one incendiary. Obviously prioritizing smokes as best as possible, but it's not really that strong of a buy for Liquid, and they're going to heave down what little utility they have right off the bat. So they're going to have to go for some kills here early on, and you can see them positioning him for it. Twist is boosting up one player in mid. JDM watches Stanislaw go up on top, over top of the smoke, and that's a strong advantage. Good awareness from Team Liquid, realizing that, you know, when it comes down to the late round, they're not going to have much left in the coffers to try and stop CLG. So the best thing they can do is give themselves a man advantage right off the bat, and that's what they do.
And now CLG still trying to stack up in mid here and get themselves in through the halls. The problem is with this much aggression being thrown up from Team Liquid, I'm actually a little bit surprised we haven't seen either Nitro or Elise start to rotate back and go over to the A site yet right now. It is going to leave only 3 players to defend over at A. Granted, they got that first kill, so it is making the defense a little bit easier. However, it can't hurt to have an extra man here when you have such aggressive control of Banana, with Elige having pushed all the way down into a little cubby over here on the right side. He's going to push even further than that now. Both are just going to work together here to hold on to it. Stan able to take up that first kill. Goes for a second, and he succeeded as Twist will shut down some of the final frags within the site and allow for Team Liquid to pick up their first round on the first gun round.
Still enough here for CLG to buy with, though. They're going to have to drop a gun over to FNS, but Cutler is going to be responsible for doing so. Kusta's got enough money for the op, so really not a bad round here for CLG at all. They could have done more damage there to maybe put Liquid at reset risk, but being as they did survive with the number of bodies they did, 3 players, they're not at that immediate reset point yet. Still low on cash, but not as terrible as it could have been. CLG putting that op in play. We'll see where they're going to take it. Looks like it's going to be leaning towards B off the start, where we see a 2-man push coming in. Elige tries to go past the smoke, and he gets overwhelmed as Ricky is there with the AK. And there's that man advantage that we saw work out well for Liquid. This time it's CLG to get it right off the start, as Elige just was trying to get something going on Banana, but instead he's put Nitro in a difficult position of being this sole B player, and that's forced Stanislaw to try and rotate into position.
Now, Nitro just going to swing himself out into the open. He gets still hit by this flashbang too, so he is only able to get that 1 kill. Everyone else falling back, but Ethan just jumps right into the M4 shot from Stan. They knew they were out there. They knew they pushed that aggressively, so they should have been able to have that intel, but just didn't pan out. So they give away a second player. We'll leave this in a 4v3 situation. The good news is, though, is that Team Liquid isn't secure on B just yet, so they haven't really started to fully rotate Stan or Nitro for that matter. So it's only leaving Twist and JDM to defend the site. The sudden switch up still might actually work out, as long as they're able to get into this site in a relatively clean fashion and not lose more than 1 player on this take.
JDM's going to go up on the box in the corner. He's got Twists in the back of side to watch balcony. JDM can just stay in this position and try and drop the bomb, and being as the clock has ticked down as low as it has, it's all going to come down to JDM, but JDM dies almost immediately. They sniff that play out right off the bat. All that Twist is trying to do here is delay, and he's doing a beautiful job of doing so, but he can't survive much longer, and now the bomb should be planted just in the nick of time. They'll get it down. With 2 seconds left on the clock, the bomb is secured, and now Nitro's rotating in. Pop Flash doesn't really blind him as Nitro dodges it, but Cutler still wins the fight regardless, as CLG bring it right back, and now they've put Liquid probably back down to pistols here yet again.
Yeah, just looking at the money, 3,300 for Stan, so he's actually, oh no, they're forcing this one. They're going all in. So I thought Stan was just going to buy the ump and maybe have normal armor behind it, but apparently not. As both him and Elige go for SMG buys, and then Nitro, Twist, and JDM are just going to end up on CZ investments. Everyone else on CLG still spreading out as per normal. The nades work their way back down mid as you would usually expect. And in a second, it actually looks like we're even keeping with the tradition of having the aggression out towards Banana here. Nitro leaps and spots, well, 3 players, so he's probably not going to try that again. Liege will obviously get this intel and then be here to defend it if the need arises, although he's got chunked by a nade. So he's going to be down at 65 HP.
Kusta's spamming away at that wall on Banana, hoping that someone will eventually be on the other side. Nitro's heard enough bullets pass through it that he's not going to go up any further than he already is. He's just standing again, staring into the wall, playing anti-flash right now, as that smoke is right in front of him. Now he moves up into position. He's hoping that Kusta's had enough spamming of that wall. So here comes the flash out from Nitro. Counter flash coming in. He does manage to help his teammate pick up a kill, but he's lost his supporting cast here. There's only one right behind him. It's Elige with the MP9. Still, they seem like they want to take this fight towards them. Elige is still in position here, and he starts unloading with this MP9. He gets 1 kill, but now they know where he's at, and he's stuck behind the boxes, or the sandbags for that matter. JDM has a flank play coming in, but he's already far enough behind that CLG is going to be able to get around and into the bomb site as well. So JDM might be able to find himself a gun and more damage here from the back end.
And now JDM basically just going to try to work his way in and do what he can here. As he was saying, from the backside of this one, he'll look to impact as best as possible. But still stuck outside of the site. The straight-on 1v3 is basically going to be a realm of fantasy. I highly doubt that will work out successfully, but I could be proven wrong in just a second. As he's going to try to lurk his way in. He spotted Ethan, but now the other two have been alerted to his presence. And Kusta can just swing out to shut down the round, putting CLG right back ahead of the fight at 5-1. And Team Liquid definitely have to go for a forcer now, as their money has been completely broken.
So CLG kind of doing what they did in the first half on Cobble. Just full control. Liquid can't do anything. Much more CT-sided map, though, here. Liquid cannot afford to give up too much more to CLG. After this save, they've really got to accelerate the plans here because CLG is walking away with this second map. And like we said, CLG is not necessarily a strong Inferno team based on just what we've seen, but the one victory they've had in recent memory, actually out of 8 games they've played on Inferno, it was over Liquid. So maybe Liquid's just the weaker Inferno team. Right now, it does seem to be the case. CLG waiting for whatever it is that Liquid is doing, which is going to be a B stack, and it's appearing to be just a pop flash in, and then they're going to charge down. They actually get the first kill. Cutler's playing close range with this AK. He gets overwhelmed as well. Kusta's trying to help out, but he wants to make sure he doesn't give away this gun. They've also lost the bomb, which is a bit of a problem. It's in that molly. They're going to be able to smoke it out and flashbang over the top. That'll allow Ethan to grab it and take it back to safety.
Kusta swinging back around with the rest of his teammates. They have an open A bomb site. No reason why they shouldn't move in and try to take full control of that one. And for Nitro and Stan, well, again, just sticking over here on B in hopes that CLG would swing in that direction, but definitely not going to happen. So they're found out of position, and we'll have to say more than likely again here with Nitro. Definitely looking to keep the AK in check. But for Stan, obviously, this is the P250, so he's going to kind of throw himself at the enemy, see if he can find himself an upgrade, and if not, well, we'll try to get as many kills as humanly possible.
Nitro just saving this AK, hiding back in construction. Stanislaw holding an exit angle with his P250. Just hoping he can keep somebody on the site, maybe make him blow up with the bomb, whatever he can do. Just trying to cause some economic hardship for CLG, but it's not going to be the case. He dies pretty quickly to FNS, who's just holding. And at this point, Nitro's going to be able to bring that AK into the next round. It's a 6th for CLG as they continue to control this first half. Winning gun rounds, winning ecos, breaking money for Liquid. Liquid's got to turn things around here, though. They can afford a buy-up, but they cannot afford to win and then lose a round immediately.
Well, in will come the buy-up, as they do manage to get full investment for pretty much everyone across the board here. CLG still looking good themselves, but they haven't established a dominating position in terms of their own money just yet. It has been them pushing through, and primarily, it's been pretty much everybody on this team except for FNS that's been showing up to the party so far. JDM, though, catches Kusta on that first peek, blinded for it, but I think he did spot Kusta right before he took the shot, so was able to mark down his position and still have a pretty good chance to find that kill there. Just quickly backs away, now playing to watch out for a boiler and mid push. As after this kill, Liquid have gone relatively passive. But passive in a way that's safe, while also remaining aggressive, too, over here on B, as they have just pushed out and gone for that deep smoke again. So just forcing the hand of CLG to put them into A, but same problem as before. They're keeping both these players here. Neither Elige or Nitro is going to be rotating over early.
And they go into the site. There it is. Twist on top of the balcony. Gets one with the help of Stanislaw as well. They're dropping these players pretty well. It's down to just one. It's FNS on the site, but he manages to secure yet another kill. And now he's going to go out hunting. They might think he's securing the bomb plant, but he's not. So he goes out looking for Nitro, and the only thing he finds is his obituary. As it's Liquid now getting a meager second round. We're you know, halfway through this first half, and that's only 2 rounds for Liquid. So no surprise here that we're going to see this double op setup coming out into play. Nitro's going to field one, and JDM, of course, having the other. It's a full buy coming in for CLG, the op in play for them as well, but only one. It's in Kusta's hands, so they're not going to the double op setup with Ricky, which we've seen already in this series. Kusta spots one on the cross, but not going back towards the pick as JDM. He's going to play a little bit more passively here, allowing CLG to wander into his crosshair instead.
Well, CLG swinging their players up through Banana relatively quickly here. They are going to try to avoid Team Liquid taking that aggressive control this time. That seems to keep funneling them in today. Granted, for the first of only 2 times, it has failed. Or at least, excuse me, it has caused problems for them with Team Liquid getting aggressive and then forcing them into these A hits. But before, it hasn't really been that big of a problem. Now they're going to try to get a little bit more counteractive with it, and this time they've gone aggressively into Banana to take that control away from Team Liquid. So both Elige and Nitro have been forced back. Nitro playing to a sort of pixel angle right outside of CT spawn, and Elige back up on top of second orange to support if CLG suddenly swing into this site, unbeknownst to them. As they don't really have anyone else getting aggressive to spot this intel for them, so it is just going to be a long waiting game for Liquid. Itchy on the rotate finger as well. Most of these guys are going to end up being because of the fact that they're no longer playing aggressively, so they can no longer reliably predict the actions of CLG.
There it is, the action finally developing on A, but it's not really an A execute. 1 kill comes in for CLG in an immediate response as Cutler gets gunned down by Twist. However, the bomb is now moving towards B. Problem is that Elige and Nitro haven't exactly moved. Elige is still up on top of second orange, and it's a pretty good position as well. They go right past Nitro in the smoke, and he manages to get 1 kill as well. It comes down to Kusta right around the corner, hiding in the smoke from Elige, and Elige starts to open fire. He's going to pull the knife out and start stabbing away at it, but it's not going to matter. Liquid have grabbed their third. Maybe, just maybe, Liquid is back into this game to a certain degree, as CLG is going to be back down to pistols here. Probably could force up, being as they will have 3 rounds of loss bonus after this, but we'll see what they decide to do.
I mean, Liquid's not really well established, so they absolutely could have forced here, as they have them at a breaking point. It's just that, again, the force at this point is not really going to be that great. It's going to be like Tech 9 armor buys, maybe an ump or 2. So overall, just not really worth the investment currently, as they probably don't believe they can win the round under those circumstances. Ricky, this time forced into a battle due to that Molotov, and Elige immediately going to shut him down. So that will be early control of Banana. It's not the aggressive control you were seeing before, though. They do just kill 1 player there, and I think through that avenue, it is going to cause a bit more of a funneling on CLG, sending everybody else into the halls to attempt to make some sort of an A hit, but they have no utility to execute on it. So, in theory, Liquid should be able to shut this down.
It really shouldn't be too difficult at all. Stanislaw is playing right around the corner, sitting just by the default box. There's 2 players coming in from apartments and 2 towards mid. Cutler now working his way towards arch side. Ethan still holding back by truck side. It's just a matter of time before we see these players go for this execute. And by execute, I mean immediate death, as it should be easy kills coming in for CLG, or Liquid for that matter, but they lose the op presence, and they're going to be able to wrap into the site, but with Twists in pit, there's not a whole lot they can do about it. Cutler has managed to get into CT spawn, and if he gets spotted, eventually Elige does connect his eyes with the eyes of Cutler. Both players lock together, but rifle versus pistol, it's an easy kill for Elige. So it's 6-4 as CLG have just a 2-round lead, but still, I mean, CLG could realistically lose out, and this is still a really good half for Inferno.
I mean, I think I said at the beginning of the half, like, you want to aim for like 5 to 6 on your T side, right? So they've already accomplished that. The problem is, though, is that if they do just kind of lose out from this point forward, mentally, as we often see, CLG, I mean, even the new roster kind of holds the characteristics of the old roster. They tend to be a somewhat snowballing team, where if they get the ball rolling and they can keep it rolling, then all right, great. They're just going to get more and more powerful, and oftentimes opponents aren't going to be able to stop them. But if you do stop them at some point, then it's a very quick decline to the overall sort of morale and power that the roster brings to the table. And we're kind of at that declining point right now, bringing CLG down. And we're not seeing a whole lot from them over these past few rounds. This Liquid kind of goes back into Crusher mode to try and shut down this map, take this series 2-0. But this is an important round, as this probably will end up defining if CLG get to keep this lead growing a little bit more, or if Liquid come back and end up around the scoreline of 6-6. Smiley's actually really well positioned too. It is going to cause quite a bit of chaos. In fact, they have to toss a smoke down on top of it. The initial push out from Boiler only goes 1-1. JDM kills the first guy trying to push out from the balcony. A second player will jump back in, and this time the op can't punish it as heavily. There's still 2 on the site. One's relatively in the open, but not from Pit. Yeah, Kustis to swing over towards the broken wall part of Pit to be able to pick up that kill. And the molly further back is again probably going to push JDM into Moto, where he's not going to be able to stop these T's from taking control and planting the bomb. But look at this from Stan. No one has checked for his position, just the casual one tap to stop the plant. He still has support from JDM as that smoke's going to be fading soon. Just reconfirm the position of Kusta back over at Broken, and the CTs smoke him off, so he can't really do anything about this. This lets Stan get out of the hotspot further into the site. And Team Liquid almost for sure have this one confirmed now as Nitro kills at the flank, but hold on now. Kusta's making a big play, but he jumps into the air and gives JDM an easy shot to close out on the round. So that's going to throw it all away. And Team Liquid do indeed get their 5th rolling.
With the way that the clock was, at that point, Kusta had to make a move. Either get into the site and get the bomb or try and get the kill. Still pretty ballsy to jump out like that. I mean, it's like skeet shooting at that point for JDM. So CLG dropped the round. Liquid grabbed their 5th. It will be one more eco coming in from CLG before we see them buy up again. And JDM's going to spot them in mid early on. Nice shot onto Ethan. Might be a follow-up as well. It is onto Kusta, who is in pit. So that's a quick 1-2 for JDM. You got to be careful. We talked about this before. If this man heats up, he's very hard to stop. Ricky, meanwhile, has managed to at least drop one of the members from Liquid who got aggressive on Banana. Nitro doesn't see the man in pit to his left, so he loses his life, but it's not to him. It's to the person in front of him at alt mid. So CLG is spilling some blood here as both Nitro and Alicia have gone down, both players from B, and that's caused Stanislaw to again rotate over towards that B site. This poor man's running miles on this map to try and support this area.
Yeah, regardless though, CLG still putting up a fight in this round and still have a chance to upset on it. Team Liquid trying to take their best guess at how exactly this is going to play back out. And with Stanislaw having such an aggressive position out on Banana here, they aren't going to be able to deny a lot of that presence. So Twist and JDM are smart to just hang out over here inside of the A bomb site, because at the moment they are going to get the brunt of the push. Problem is that they're both restricted to pit. So if they do come out balcony, it's actually very easy to overwhelm the two of them in pit right now, as there's no one really paying attention to that. Twist is going to rely on sort of a split-second reaction to be able to stop a lot of that. But with time getting lower, it may become more and more predictable as Stanislaw may peek out, see nothing is there. And here comes the leaps. Like I said, quick reaction from Twist. He finds it, though. FNS doesn't really fully commit to it. Cutler trades 1 kill. Ricky finds the 2nd. So we end up in a 1v1. And Ricky's going to have plenty of time to go for that plant, as Stanislaw is only just now about halfway up mid.
So again, another close round here. CLG with not a whole lot coming up after this one, or coming into this one for that matter. They managed to make it close, but still comes down to a round successful here for Team Liquid. Stanislaw, he's not so sure that Ricky's dead, so he's going to secure that death with the M4 spraying away. And he's going to go find himself an op, maybe a couple nades to throw on top of it as well. And he'll be able to get there in time for the defuse. More than enough time. So it will be that 6th round, all tied up. Liquid have brought it back to 6 apiece. So like you had said, 6 rounds was a pretty decent scoreline to shoot for on your T side. But CLG was looking like they were going to get a whole lot more for a while. I mean, they were up 6-1 before Liquid really came alive and started to turn things on. So it is feeling very similar to Cobble. Liquid very slow to start. CLG kind of off to a strong start before Liquid comes alive and CLG starts to hit a wall.
Yeah, and CLG hitting this wall in a very big way here now. We can see they'll reinvest again into this round, but needing a pause to take a second. And this was relatively short, though, so it might have ended up being a technical pause. Again, guys, we're not actually being fed those details today, so we don't know 100%. We're just making our best guess of whether these pauses are for technical or tactical reasons. But unpause now, so we'll jump back into it. And like I mentioned before, full buys for both teams, but CLG currently, they had the money for it. They just choose not to go for it currently. They will bypass the op on this round. And Team Liquid still will gladly use it in the hands of JDM, who has been showing up when needed a lot of the time over on that A-bomb site. He has been somewhat hit or miss on these mid-peaks.
There's the pop flash again on Banana as we see Liquid doing what they've been doing here, trying to get early aggressive control of Banana. Smoke deep, molly behind it, flashbang out as well, just in case anyone's waiting on the other side. So they throw a decent bit of utility right off the start. And you can see those players have rotated off now in favor of JDM's op. So they're going to swing things back around, and that could work out really well, as it does look like it's going to be an A play here. Stanislaw dumps the mag on the players through the smoke, but he manages to escape and still wins the fight with FNS. They're still going for this A side execute. Stan's going to get one more through the smoke, and the kills are starting to pile up right now for the CT side. Stanislaw gets the assist with the Liege. It's come down to just Ricky. He's on the site, and it will be a Liege getting 3, Stan with 2, and 2 assists, I believe, as well for Stan. Great damage from him on the round, as Liquid have now stolen the lead away. I like that swing from Liquid. They get that early aggressive control of Banana, but once they dump all that utility, they feel more comfortable with JDM's op. So they rotate him in. Both those rifles go over to A, and it actually worked out well for Liquid.
Well, now that is going to lead us into, since CLG working on full losing bonus now, they are basically going to be able to buy indefinitely here. And into this next round already, we see, oh my goodness, Ricky just walking on to Stanislaw, it seems, the left side there. I think he's able to spot him just before the smoke plumes in mid, and off of that picks up that early kill for CLG. So nice advantage from them. They still have to work upon this. The problem is CLG's been extremely one-dimensional so far on this T side, just pushing themselves into the halls, kind of holding there. We haven't seen a whole lot of B action from them, and when we have, it's been very shaky, and they're going to fall right into that pattern again. This time they're a little bit more direct about it through mid, but still, the prompt molly just goes onto the ground. They read into that, and Twist ready to fight off Ethan, who tries to push his way out through the long haul there. He does manage to challenge him, does not get the kill though, but he's still going to be up on top, ready to do some damage. He picks up 2, almost gets the 3rd, gets the assist on that one as Elige moves in, and he's still well and alive, spots the 3rd player, and gets that kill, but Cutler will trade him out afterwards, putting this down to a 1v2 situation with Cutler trying to clutch.
Cutler, though, he tries to bait out that bomb plant on the A site, and Nitro is waiting for him. What happened to CLG, that team early on that was finding so much success across the map? They've all of a sudden just completely fallen apart. That's now 7 straight rounds for Team Liquid as they've brought it right on back. So what was looking like maybe a 3rd map series could be a 2-0 here, as Liquid are challenging CLG in the same fashion as map 1. Starting slow, building, building, building. Still, though, that game ended up being very close, and that was a map that Liquid is very proficient on compared to Inferno, which is not a map we see them play all that often. And it is still looking like a 9-6 if Liquid can even take this one. But look at the damage that's been dealt already on top Banana. Elige gets a post-mortem kill. Or no, he's still alive. It was his teammates who died at top Banana, Nitro and JDM. Elige, with the Molotov, finishes off Ethan. Ricky is going to make it out alive as he backs up and regroups with his team on A. Twist is in cubby top mid, as it looks like that's where CLG wants to go. They're going to be going towards this A site, so it's going to be a difficult retake for Liquid here as they're rotating those players over from Banana.
Ricky still trying to hold in this site here right now, but Twist back in again, is picking these players off, even though he's not an active part of the defense this time. The rotate is strong from him, and he's immediately able to move in, impacting on the players. They will end up smoking him back off, which is going to cause a few players to have to wrap back around here, and Elige has taken a very long path through mid to push himself up into the long haul itself. Trying to go out onto A. FNS still going to be waiting in the pit, but at the moment, a little bit oblivious still. A possibility that someone could be flanking all the way from up on top. Checks it at the very last second, though, and reads into that play. So he is going to be able to find Elige out here. And now just down to Twist to try and retake this 1v3. It's not going to happen. CLG pieced together a 7th round to close out the half.
Fantastic first half for CLG. Probably could have been better. And realistically should have been better. You know, there were a few rounds that I felt like CLG probably could have made some better decisions there. But even still, you're probably happy getting 7 rounds on Inferno. I mean, a map that, you know, a lot of teams struggle to get 5 on. So good work from them on their T side. But again, we've shown these teams play maps in backwards manners. You know, Cobblestone is traditionally a little bit more even of a map. Some would even argue T-sided, but it was heavily CT-sided in the previous series. So one could argue that maybe this map will follow suit. Maybe we'll see Inferno flip around and it will be a T-sided map all of a sudden. But like we said, CLG, they've played this map quite a bit. The only time they've ever beaten a team was Liquid. Liquid doesn't really play this map all that often, so you kind of wonder what they're going to bring to the table on the T side. And even though Stanislaw was added to the roster a little bit of time ago, have they really been practicing Inferno? Like, have they been building something with this somewhat new in-game leader? He's not fresh. It's not like he's been here for like a week. But you have to wonder, like, have they focused on this map even? Or does the team just prefer not to play it?
Was this Liquid you're talking about? Or
Yeah.
no, I mean, most NA teams have been pretty okay with jumping onto Inferno, to be completely honest. I think it ended up being one of the most played maps throughout the season on Pro League. So it's definitely a map that like every team should be, you know, getting somewhat familiar with, because it's one that essentially every NA team is embraced since Valve did. This is probably like one of the better Valve remakes in the last like year or two since they started doing them. So
Yeah. I mean, here's just like looking at statistics recently for Liquid. They've definitely played it with a higher success rate than CLG. They played against Luminosity in ESL Pro League. They've won. They beat Cloud9. They lost to Immortals 3 times, but they've beaten SK even this season in ESL Pro League. So they've definitely played the map quite a bit, but it still begs the question, like, why did CLG pick this given their history with the map? You know, all you'd have to do is go to an HLTV match page and be like, okay, well, Liquid's played this, you know, X amount of times, 10 times, and they've won 4. We've played it 8 times and won once. Yes, the only time we ever beat anybody was them, but are you really throwing everything at that? Is that like your roll of the dice? Like, this is going to work, guys. Trust me.
Well, we'll have to find out as we are live into the second half. With CLG lagging behind a little bit, and well, Team Liquid's just going to go right over here, up Banana, rushing their way in. Finesse is able to trade out for 1 kill, but it is traded 2-1, and that is pretty much full B site control. Ricky, ooh, almost able to catch Nitro. It looks like he screwed up a jump on the way crossing CT. He misses the shots. Well, Ethan will be able to move in, trying to tag through. The smoke, it doesn't really pan out too well. And there's even going to be a flank for the flank in a second here, as Cutler working his way down, checking out like mini pit and whatnot. He's going to have Twist waiting for him upstairs. Nitro able to pick up 2 kills within the site, and then Twist finishes things off back down in mid. Nicely played from Nitro, as Team Liquid do push past their opponents once again and end up 9-7. Probably going to be able to push that even further now as well.
CLG trying to fight back here with the pistol armor buy in the second round, as they don't want to give Liquid any room to work with on their T side. It was such a good half from CLG. You don't want to surrender that lead so easily, or that 1 round lead that Liquid had for that matter. You don't want to make that gap wider is what I mean. At the bottom of Banana, we see 3 players from Liquid grouping up. The smoke is down early. If they were to head towards B, it would be a mistake, as there's 4 players currently there for CLG. There's only 1 player playing A. It's Ricky. He's got his deagle, and he's watching from Arch side right now for an exit from Boiler. The bomb still hasn't decided where it's going to go. It's just dropped in T-spawn. Liquid's just looking for intel early on, throwing out quite a bit of utility to see if anyone's stacked up atop Banana. That might provide a false sense of security, being as they didn't see anybody, but it also could make them think, well, if no one's here, where might they be? Maybe deeper back. And obviously that B site is CQC at its finest. Close quarters combat really shines on there. So Ricky now in mid. He's the only player here with the deagle, and he's going to see a Liege come out, and the Liege immediately backs off, not wanting to take the fight with the deagle.
Stan just slowly creeping in here right now, but well, out's going to come a wild FNS. But that allows Stan to get the 1 kill he was looking for. Keep in mind, he has his teammates with him, but the bomb's still way back down to the bottom of Crossroads. He stands in a pretty kind of risky position here for a pistol force-up. As you kind of just saw with Kusta, they can wildly swing out and do massive damage. These pistols are powerful on this site, so you have to be very careful the way you play. Only 1 remaining that's in the immediate area of the site, however, as JDM does take down Ethan. The other guy that was here, Cutler, was stuck behind smokes at Garden, so he really couldn't help out with that unless he just wanted to throw his own life away. And for Ricky, well, he's pretty much going to be in the same spot as Cutler, so they do not have a real chance to win this one out. They've got JDM and Stan low, and that information might have been relayed, so Cutler hangs around for a few more seconds, hoping someone gets a little greedy to peek in, but it doesn't happen. So now both, since they at least have the armor and upgraded pistol to each of them, are going to fall back, because they're still going to be looking at a full save going into the 3rd round.
Oh, okay. Ricky gets caught in CT spawn by himself. I guess he didn't get the call, as Cutler had already made it back into the A bomb site by the time his teammate dies. He's going to be behind the spammable box in the pillar, using that for a bit of cover, just hiding in that corner, hoping he doesn't get spotted by Elige, who's now leaping around like a mad rabbit, coming in from Library, and he's going to go right past Cutler. Cutler's going to survive, so they'll be able to bring that 5-7 into the next round. But I actually like the play from Liquid. They went towards B, but they were able to pull players out individually, 1 by 1. So CLG kind of made a mistake in that they had that pistol stack, but the first player gets spotted from Coffins, then Kusta comes out alone. So then you've only got 2 players, and they're crossfiring. 1 smoke eliminates the Cutler, who was over towards Coffins as the backup. So now you've just got Ethan in sight to worry about, second orange. So pretty good process of elimination by Liquid, but a bit of a mistake from CLG to kind of take those solo fights.
Well, going into this next round here with CLG on their full save, with everything except for Cutler, of course, they're going to try to play this aggressively. Cutler just gets absolutely decked, though, so that was the only real big gun they had on this full save round, and everyone else just gets absolutely destroyed. Kusa maybe going to have things here, but he does get pushed back, running out of ammo. He'll try to swing back around to look for JDM. JDM's hunting that kill down, though, and he's almost got him dead to rights. At 71, going down lower and lower, and finally we'll get knocked out by Twists, as he ends up with the ace on the round, but Team Liquid push up to 11. There's 5 more, and they'll have their spot at Cologne.
I was loving the play from JDM there. It looked like he wanted to deny the ace to Twist. He's like, I'm not giving this young blood that. That's mine. I want that kill. But Twist right now sitting at the top frag position for Liquid. Really good performance from him here, 22 and 11. So not too shabby for one of the younger players currently competing at a pro level. Team Liquid, they get that 11-7 lead, 4 rounds up over CLG. And they approach this as a bonus round, 4 umps and an AK. So they're not really going to invest too much of anything. And I'd imagine it's probably just going to be a dedicated B play. And that's appearing to be the case right now, as everyone from Liquid is over on Banana, knowing that they can exploit the umps that close range against the defenses here. The smoke is down at top Banana, but it's just a matter of it fading away, as they don't really have too much to stop this. Ricky has a flash, and FNS has a flash. That's it. They don't have any incendiaries or anything to work with outside of that. It's just going to come down to gunfights, and Ricky says, I'm pretty competent with that. He's going to pick up 2 before his teammate in sight dies, and they manage to get the wrap there as well, so they will be able to potentially get the bomb down. The problem is that it's fallen outside their grasp, and Kusta's already rotated into construction.
Yeah, now it's Liquid wrapping back in here. They've got that control, but they now have to get the bomb onto the ground. 50 seconds left to do that, though, so plenty of time. And with Kusa kind of overextending there, that gives them their opportunity to do this. Very careful in retrieving the bomb. There's a timing could work out for CLG. Ethan spots it. No one's paying attention to that. So Ethan escapes with a kill and a twist, just leaving a Liege in this fight. And he's already low, 23 HP. That was our higher health player that ended up going down. He's just now going to try to lurk his way over. Was hoping the Cutler would have pushed up the tree or some position like that, but he hasn't found him there yet. And now may just end up walking into his own death in a second here, as Cutler is waiting for this. Oh, all right. Elige actually finds that kill. Now he's down at 1 HP, however. Tries to go for the fake flash. Does not phase Ethan at all. And he closes out there. Finds both of those kills. And shuts down the round for CLG, as they indeed stay alive in this fight. But they've got a long way to go, as they let Team Liquid get a massive amount of cash in those first 3 rounds.
They got a pretty good amount of cash there as well, all things considered. That was the bonus round, like we said. They came into that with no investment, just umps. So look at where CLG is now. A Mag 7 double ump, 2 M4s. JDM actually doesn't go for the AWP, which he goes for a different 3-letter gun. I guess he's knowing that they also are, you know, buying to the fullest of their extent, and it's going to be bad. So there's not going to be an up and play for them. So he's kind of playing the situation. We'll see if it backfires here for him. He could have afforded an AK, but decides that the SMG is all he needs. And a lot of players would probably agree. Kusta's playing arch side, and he's got a nade in hand ready to throw. It's a smoke for top mid to refresh. He's going to have to throw it soon, as they're already beginning their push forward. He tries to put it in front of their path, but it's not really going to stop them. They're already beyond it as they make their way into the site. Ethan's in pit. They've got one more on the balcony. That's Cutler doing really good damage right now. They can't spot him through it, but Kusta's fallen as well. And now they've got control of the site, and the retake is going to be very difficult. FNS forced to work with this Mag 7, and Ricky does have a kit, but he's coming in from the other side.
3v2 situation here with CLG trying to pinch upon it, but Team Liquid have really good control, and they are going to be hard to push back out. That Molly's going to be great for them. Ricky also picking up the kill on Elige, forces JDM up on top of the box. Molly's going to fade, though, but actually, no, he just goes right back down into it. So all of a sudden, it's on Stan, but Stan's ready, knows where FNS is coming from, too, has the right position, and lines up the headshot. So a 1v2 clutch from Stanislaw in that round, which had plenty of mistakes from the other 2 players in that side from Team Liquid, do end up still winning it out there, as Stanislaw finds the big clutch.
If you're JDM, you're having PTSD flashbacks to that round on Overpass earlier tonight where he died jumping out of heaven. You're just like, what happened there? I mean, he was safe on top of the box, and then he just fell off the box back into the molly. CLG, though, they're going to, you know, force up what they can afford. That means an ump and pistols and armor. It's really not a whole lot for them. At least they've got a kit, so maybe if the bomb goes down, there's a retake potential there. But the odds of them being able to stop that bomb are slim to none. Still, though, we've seen just how strong pistols can be, and we've seen a couple of full ecos work out successfully for teams tonight across various maps. So you can't necessarily count CLG out of this one. Again, Liquid going to come into this with the same buy as before. 4 AKs and 1 UMP. And they've already lost one of those AKs. That was Twists who had it. But it's an immediate trade there for Elige. as Ethan gets gunned down in apartments. So now they've got the bomb working out of Banana and heading back towards the bottom of mid. And there's two players playing on both sides of the map. It's going to be Kusta and Cutler trying to lock down A, and Ricky and FNS on the B site.
Well, the time's still plentiful. Liquid aren't going to be forced into any situation anytime soon here. But the double stack at Porch does have its dangers. Kusta, though, super aggressive right up in front. He may find himself just facing the wrong way here in a moment. Takes the battle, though. Cutler helping out to the best of his own ability, but they can only get one kill. So they end up losing that trade in a huge fashion. And now look at what's left here on the CLG side. Just a single P250 and a deagle for Ricky. So what hope do they have to pull off this 2v3? Well, they actually have quite a decent hope, since both Stan and Nitro have been tagged. Elise is the only full HP player remaining, but the big issue is going to be that CLG don't actually have a great amount of utility to force themselves past these smokes, past this setup. I mean, Nitro even still has a molly to try and block off the Porch Avenue. So both FNS and Ricky are probably going to have to proceed back. And at this point, I'm not even honestly sure if they're going to go for this. Probably just going to be hanging out over by Archers to try and kill anyone that tries to exit through this route, but not going to actually make an attempt to clutch the round.
It doesn't seem likely, does it? FNS is here holding for an exit. Nice shot from Ricky to get Stanislaw trying to get out of the site. So now Nitro, he realizes, I'm dead. His teammate goes into pit. Elise survives with 15 HP. They're actually going to try and take the gun out of his hands as well. Wisely, he goes back into the pit when he sees them cross, but they're both able to get AKs. So that's actually a really good move from FNS and Ricky to get guns. They're able to at least make something happen now because of it, buying some SMGs and throwing them around as best as they can. So you can see CLG coming into this one with something. Double AK, MP7, and again the Mag 7 for FNS, which given the right position can be so good, but that retake potential just goes down the drains. If that bomb goes B and he's playing A, it's brutal. Instead, though, he's going to be playing on the other side of the concrete wall at the top of Banana with the smoke down. If he jump peeks here, he might get spotted, so he's just going to hang tight and wait for one of these members from Liquid to come around the corner. Well, FNS with the potential to go big or go home. Possibly stay at home, actually, since they wouldn't be going to Cologne. But now Team Liquid still holding back in that big old stack just outside of the wall, even tagging FNS through the bricks. They'll boost up on top of each other here, on top of the logs, as JDM finishes the job, knocking out FNS. They almost take down Ricky, too. CLG just can't win in this situation. Ricky going to be forced over here behind second orange. Still, though, takes these battles with stride, as he is able to push in, eliminating Nitro before he finally goes down to stand. That's it, though. CLG do not have a choice. They have to fall back and save, as they are completely disconnected from all this action happening at B. Yeah, I mean, the second Ricky gets backed off into the B side, they have to start rotating then. If they want to even have a chance at this one. But he somehow manages to get one kill, and he just held down the trigger. Like, you could tell he was like, I'm going to die anyway, so I'm just going to shoot as many bullets as possible towards their direction. Maybe I'll get lucky. So he eventually falls, and at that point, you can see the call is made. Yeah, CLG doesn't even make an attempt for this. They're just going to group up in apartments, bring those guns into the next round. It will be a 14th here for Liquid, and they're starting to smell success. They're getting ever closer to that finish line, just a few rounds away from closing out CLG. So despite everything they did in that first half, again, it's just mirroring Cobblestone. The team that's supposed to get more rounds, whether it's the T side or the CT side, doesn't. So CLG had a strong half on Cobble. Then they got beat by Liquid 16-14. They have a strong first half on Inferno as well, but now they're down 14-8. It looks like Liquid's just going to repeat their successes from map 1.
Yep, so now I was going to say full pause. I'm like losing my my train of thought here. We're almost 12 hours in. But yeah, Team Liquid are going to have to wait a few seconds to get into this round, which could very well define this set for them. The CLG have called for the pause, and they are going to end up forcing into this situation to the best of their ability anyway. It's mainly just going to be umps, and for Ethan, he's going to have an MP7, so we will see how this ends up playing out for them. As this is do or die time for CLG. If they don't win this one out, then they'll have to win, I think it's 6 straight for OT. And even that is going to be a little bit problematic to reach for, considering the power that Team Liquid now seem to have over CLG on this T side. And again, it's another scrapped together buy for CLG, which is what we've seen from them already. You know, they've been in a position where they just can't
afford to surrender what they've got, so they have to save, and what they're saving isn't all that valuable. JDM peeks first on mid, misses the shot, but the rest of the team is able to get up as a result, and Cutler, there's not a whole lot that Kusta can do to help him. Kusta now rotates around towards the site. He's one of the players that had an AK coming into this one. He too meets his end quickly. Ethan's inside, boosted up on the box. Again, it's a save. At this point, you know, these two remaining players can't go for this one, and Ricky is able to make it out alive. FNS not so lucky, as the bullet clips the back of his skull, trying to escape into the library and expand his knowledge. So, 5 players survive for Liquid, and it's another in a string of very successful rounds for them on their T side.
And Ricky just running away, hoping he could stay alive, since again his team is going to be broke. They will be on 4th round losing bonus, so the buy is going to be slightly better than what we had in the last round. A few players are floating around 1K and whatnot. Ricky finding himself in this battle. He kills Elige. I think there's an AK on the ground as well, so we could try to go for that. He does have to dive into Mexico afterwards, though, as this is going to be a little bit risky with this position. He tries to peek up and takes duel versus Stan, but you just can't beat Stan right now, man. He's dominating so far in this set, and he has been for most of today. Not just him either. Twist has been kind of in and out for a few of these maps. Definitely in on this map, leading the charge in terms of scoreline at 23 and 14. And Elige, Nitro as well, have been kind of swapping prowess between the two of them, with Elige being the star on this map.
One of the craziest things about Elige, when you look back historically, one of the first big teams he played for was Elevate. Look at the roster for that team. It was Elige, Roka, and Rush. It's amazing that team didn't find much success, because when you look at those players, they're players that people profile now as like really strong mechanically. And I know one would argue that Roka hasn't had the same pro level success that maybe Elige and Rush have had, but still someone who's highly regarded for that mechanical skill. But Elige has really shined in previous months for Liquid, and Stanislaw as well. Like you said, like he's doing well here. He was not a player that came into this roster and was expected to be this top performer, but at times he's really impressed a lot of people, myself included, especially early on when he first joined the roster and they were playing through Pro League. We were like, okay, well, what can we expect from Team Liquid? He looked great, and he's continued that form to a certain extent here for Liquid, as they're now just at the edge of qualifying for ESL One Cologne. Just one round. That's all they need. One round to topple CLG and take the series 2-0.
Yep, and they're taking it very patiently. They've been a little bit more direct, I think, on some of these past rounds, but this time, just holding it up. They do have Hull's control. The long haul is still to be gained, however. Kusta is sitting inside of it, trying to resist this, but it's only with a Mag 7, which is going to be very iffy, depending on quite a few factors, like the timing of his peak, based on the timing of his peak, just how far away his opponents are going to end up being if he gets flashed, something like that. And there you go. Yeah, the timing, not great under those circumstances. Now they know there's a shotgun, and they can try to play against that. What's going to be even worse is look at this wrap that's working its way from Team Liquid. Kusta can do nothing to fire back at that. Yet these guys push their way into the site, which they are going to do. Going for this pinch. This is all Cutler right here. Ethan holding for 1 kill, and Stanislaw trading that back out. Now Cutler swings in for 1 more, but he's taken down by Twist, and the shotgun from Kusta does absolutely nothing. It's down to a 2v3 to decide the spot at Cologne. Team Liquid could very well take it right here, right now. Finesse trying to swing in to look for something, but not going to get it, and Ricky walks into his death. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be Team Liquid that take the set 2-0, and they will claim the North American qualifier slot for ESL One Cologne 2017.
Great performance, honestly, across the board from CLG. They played really well. They had a really strong T side there. Probably looking back, should have been able to take that first map. If you're looking at that now, you're like we could have at least gone to the third series, or the third map in the series. But Inferno was their map selection, and like we had said, it was confusing from the get-go. It didn't really seem like a map that made much sense. Kind of felt like they played themselves, picking a map that maybe they were hoping Liquid wouldn't be as prepared for, or playing off of that previous result. I really don't know what the call was, but they just didn't seem to have enough in the tank. Once it came to that second half, it was all Liquid taking over.
And so that is going to conclude our stream for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all very much for tuning in. If you have been with us for the full 12 hours, we very much appreciate that. But those that tuned in for part of it, thank you very much as well. We do want to give a shout out as well to our producer/observer. That was Prius helping us out today on running the stream and, of course, observing for us. So be sure to go ahead and give him a follow over on Twitter at Prius707. And Bach was with me as well today, so go ahead and follow him over at Bach_TV. Yeah, sorry. Prius's Twitter is at Prius CSGO now. I got the old one there, so it's Prius CSGO as his Twitter, not Prius707. But
you mean it's not at Intern Observer?
Yeah, it's not, unfortunately. Darn. So that's just his title. It's not his username. But yeah, that's it for today, folks. So thank you guys very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time here on the stream for ESL Counter-Strike.